Now, Washington Mornings on the Mall. At AM 630.
7:07 on WMAL. Brian and Brian back in the house. Wilson back from his trip.
Yeah.
From China.
I'll talk about it again in the 8 o'clock hour, just a little bit.
Looking forward to that. Joe DiGenova, our legal expert, joins us now. Good to talk to you again, Joe. Thanks for coming in last Monday, by the way, as well.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. Apparently some Secret Service agents were having some fun in Colombia. They got busted for this. They're sent back home. There's going to be an investigation and may even go into the military. What do you make of this?
Well, I think people have been saying, so has the Secret Service, that the president's security was not compromised. That is false. The president's security was compromised.
How so?
It was compromised because of the substantial breach of protocol, investigative protocol, security protocol. Anytime you have a breach of the perimeter around the president, these rooms were in a secure part of the hotel that these agents were staying at.
Okay.
That means that the security of the president was breached even though he wasn't there. This is beyond belief. I mean, what it shows you is there's something going on inside the Secret Service, which is these are very difficult jobs. People are under a lot of pressure. Mm-hmm. But this goes beyond letting off steam, playing some football. This is serious business. This involves compromise, blackmail, learning information, taking something out of somebody's wallet that could be used later on to help a drug cartel. Remember where they were. Colombia, for God's sake.
Cartagena, no less, which is the drug capital of Colombia.
This is beyond belief. By the way, whoever these agents were, their careers are over. Mm-hmm. If they were smart, they would just resign right now and say, "You're not going to question me. Goodbye. I'm out of here."
Is it possible for criminal charges here? Or is this just solely they're going to get fired from their job?
I can't see criminal charges. This is in the military. This would be dereliction of duty, but there's no such. Unfortunately, the civil service doesn't have it.
Well, Darrell Issa pointed out, he's going to look into this, is that, hey, most likely this isn't the first time this happened. From your experience as a prosecutor, is that true? Most people, when somebody dies, ODs on drugs, it wasn't the first time they used drugs.
I would say that as a presumption that's probably true, although there's no evidence of that right now. It may have occurred because they were out of the country and they were in a country where prostitution is legal in certain zones. Mm-hmm. But regardless of all of that, this is a monumental embarrassment. And by the way, not the first one for this head of the Secret Service. I don't know how this guy lasts.
So what do you think ultimately will happen? Do you think
Remember, this is the guy under whose watch the security breach happened at the White House State Dinner.
Right.
With the Salahis.
Yeah. The Salahis walked through.
This is the same guy. And my question is, what the hell's going on at the Secret Service? What's going on? This is, the fish rots from the head.
All right. What about Zimmerman? Since you were last on, I think they filed charges against him, and there's a bond hearing scheduled. Your thoughts?
I think that press conference held by Angela Cook was one of the most disgraceful things I have ever seen.
Why?
It was a professional embarrassment to me as a former prosecutor. It was preening. It was designed to poison a jury pool, talking about her precious victim. Now listen, the kid's dead. He is a victim. But to practically eulogize the child, this guy, this 20-year-old, at a press conference was an embarrassment. I've never seen a more disgusting press conference by a prosecutor.
Well, people who follow her closely say this is not out of the norm for her.
Because she's a Democrat. She can do anything she wants.
I don't know if she is even a Democrat, though. Do you know that for a fact?
She is a Democrat.
Okay.
She is a Democrat.
She's
an elected public official who is a Democrat. And then let me just tell you something. This news conference, they ought to show at law schools for what a prosecutor should never do.
And that is talking about the victim as the precious victim, praying with the family members. And,
everything.
Thanking people for their well wishes and their good wishes.
It was a remarkable political speech. It had nothing to do with law enforcement. She stood there preening, literally preening. She had a smile on her face for half the news conference. This was a political speech designed to prepare her for future political office. It was disgusting.
Well,
this was an Al Sharpton favor.
Did you actually look at the charging documents? Does it make sense to you? Is she on the right track here?
I did look at the document, and I would call it minimalist, paper thin, unbelievably insufficient. And it shows why she didn't use a grand jury. She knew from the day she was appointed she was going to bring charges. She was afraid of a grand jury. She was afraid a grand jury might say, we want to hear what happened from Mr. Zimmerman. We want to know what might have happened during that confrontation before the shots were fired. She didn't want a record of what happened during the confrontation. This whole thing smells. And if he doesn't make bond, it's because he's lived in this community practically all his life, and he has local contacts. He doesn't have his weapon anymore. He should make bond on Friday, and it'll be interesting to see what the position of the state.
Well, it sounds as if they made a political decision to sort of calm the waters, but it sounds long term as if there might be a verdict that goes the other way.
Once they get into this, by the way, all of these people are saying George Zimmerman has to take the stand. No, he doesn't. Every statement he made to the police is admissible during the defense case. Every word he gave the police officers when he was interviewed is admissible in the defense case, where he explains exactly what happened. He does not have to take the witness stand.
What did you make of the charge of second-degree murder and not manslaughter, which most people thought? Do you think that she's maybe working on a plea deal here, or is there something else behind it?
She wants the jury to compromise. She wants the jury to think, oh, well, we're not going to give her second degree, but we'll give her manslaughter. That's what this is about. They overcharged purposely to give the jury a basis upon which to compromise. This is clearly, if it's anything, it's a manslaughter case. And it sounds pretty much that it is a manslaughter case if you believe the facts as the government has stated them. But unfortunately, the facts are woefully inadequate.
All right. Well, then let's go back to our original conversation that we had a couple of weeks ago when you thought, hey, there's no doubt about this. The prosecutor should have had charges made. The police should have pressed charges right away that night. Are you now rethinking that? I mean,
oh, no. I would have authorized an arrest that night on the facts as they exist. That doesn't mean that that's going to be a jury triable case or that it should be. I certainly would have put the case to the grand jury. Any smart prosecutor sends it to the grand jury for the simple reason that the jury may flush it out. The jury may say, this was really self-defense. But she didn't want to do that. She wanted to charge this case. This was designed from the beginning. I mean, this is really, really the worst way to do it. The worst way. She should have taken it to the grand jury so the community could speak. She did not. She sees this as a political advantage for her. I find the whole thing disgusting. I mean, that news conference to me was one of the worst things I've ever seen a prosecutor do. Disgraceful.
Well, we'll talk more about this as we go forward, no doubt. Joe DiGenova, thank you very much.
Okay.